Hello, everybody. Hi, this is Nina. I'm here in Byron Bay, Australia, right now, and I wanted to share some um, practices. Very simple. It's more thoughts than practices, really, around how to stay healthy and sane in times like this. And the number one practice that I rely on to go through the day is my breath. And I have a video for like a 10-minute or 20-minute breath practice. It's just really deep belly breathing, diaphragmatic breathing to down-regulate your nervous system. And when we get stressed, the breath tends to move into the chest, and the belly is almost like tight or drawing in on the inhale. And then on the exhale, the belly relaxes out. But when you see how the breath is naturally moving when we are relaxed, when we are in a parasympathetic nervous system state where we are at ease, the breath moves into the belly. And also when you see babies breathe, for example, you can see how they breathe into their bellies. And the breath is the most important tool that we really have to hack our nervous system when we're stressed, when we're in fight, flight, freeze. It's really hard. We can't think our way out of that state. You might have tried that. I have tried that a million times. You're like, no, it's really nothing to worry about, or like trying to kind of like, but all that happens is that it gets worse. So you need to shift gears, and it's very counterintuitive. It's almost like okay, the thoughts are there. Don't try to get rid of them. That's not going to help either. Just leave them. Just let them alone and come to your breath. Notice how it usually sits in your breath, in your chest in that moment. It always does for me after 15 years of yoga teaching. It's amazing how often I catch myself in moments where I'm like, oh my God. And then I'm like, okay, the breath is here. And then I'm like, oh, okay. And I take a breath, try to bring it into the belly. Sometimes I take my hands onto the belly, bring it into the belly. Just one breath, enough. Ideally, 50 times a day. And one of my meditation teachers, Jack Kornfield, says the hardest part of the practice is to remember the practice. Maybe you set yourself an alarm a couple of times a day and just take one deep breath into your belly. Can imagine how you relax the shoulders and the jaw at the same time. It really helps me. It's just one breath, and you might not see a huge impact right away, but I can't tell you how important it is over time. It's you're retraining your breath patterns that got built over years, right? So don't put too many expectations on yourself right away. Just keep doing it, and you will see how it starts working over time. And it's really scientifically, it hacks the nervous system. You're like through focusing on the breath, one breath when you catch yourself during the day, ideally 10 minutes of deep belly breathing once a day, twice a day, it makes a huge difference. So this is my number one advice, my number one tool. And if you don't know the diaphragmatic breathing, it's really just sitting up straight or lying down. It really doesn't matter. Bringing your hands to your belly or your lower ribs and drawing the breath into the ribs and the lower belly on the inhale. Feeling how your hands like expand like on the belly. And on the exhale, the belly moves back towards the spine, hands floating on the belly. Inhale, belly, ribs, and then back down. And I think the mind is not your enemy, but the mind will tell you, well, this is not going to do anything. This is not important right now. There's so many things to take care of. But it's important to recognize that that's what the mind does, right? And trusting 1,000-year-old practices and science, working with the breath to down-regulate your nervous system. So important.